Ready? Start. Stan Swami's death in judicial custody was an entirely avoidable tragedy, and pretty much every part of the criminal justice system is responsible. First, he was not even being tried. He was awaiting further proceeding in last year's NIA filed Elgar Parishad charge sheet. Second, NIA arrested Swami only a day before filing its charge sheet. This showed it didn't need him for a custodial interrogation. Therefore, investigative integrity wouldn't have been threatened had Swami received bail. But, and this is the third grave injustice, NIA stoutly opposed bail pleas of an 84-year-old with serious medical conditions and one who was jailed when a pandemic was raging. Fourth, the trial court failed on counts of common sense, simple decency, and judicial principles by stalling the bail of an octogenarian with Parkinson's who couldn't possibly intimidate witnesses or pose a flight risk. This terrible systematic failure is made worse by a more worrying trend, the freewheeling way serious charges like terrorism are being filed. Swami, accused of involvement in a Maoist conspiracy, had worked for some of India's most disadvantaged. His 2017 PIL, which came after painstaking research on SC/STs languishing for years as UAPA under trial prisoners, as well as his long years of campaigning for Adivasi land and forest rights, are not exactly typical of a dangerous anti national. Swami's is one of many cases where investigators' definition of what constitutes terrorism should attract severe judicial scrutiny. A strong case now exists for revisiting UAPA provisions defining terrorist acts and discouraging bail. Terror is currently too broadly defined in this draconian law, and UAPA's onerous bail conditions seems to tell post judges that threadbare dissection of the prosecution case is not warranted. There are a few exceptions to this judicial passivity. Assam activist Akhil Gogoi was discharged last week after a special court didn't even bother to send his UAPA case relating to anti-CAA protests to trial. Delhi High Court's recent bail order on three anti-CAA activists also rubbished Delhi police UAPA charges. In Feb, Supreme Court granted bail to a UAPA accused incarcerated for over 5 years. Last month, Karnataka High Court granted default bail to 115 accused in a Bangalore riots case. In these proceedings, NIAS pleas for 90-day extension of probe had been accepted by a trial court without hearing defendants. But look at the Algar Parishad. Some accused are in prison for nearly 3 years. Courts haven't framed charges to begin trial. Will Swami's tragic death give the system the shaking up it needs? Para. Research by SBI estimates household debt during the pandemic year 2020-21 increased by almost 5 percentage points to 37.3% for GDP. The report concluded that household savings may have also gone down. This data lends credence to anecdotal evidence that the combination of economic hardship and emergency health spending has taken a big toll on the household economy. Even during the nascent recovery that showed up before the second wave, consumption spending was lackluster. SBI's data is another demonstration of the faulty logic of GOIS series of economic recovery packages.